fellow Trek chatters, I'm Pit Trekkie and welcome to the 5th and final day of the Las Vegas Star Trek convention. Basically for Brandy and me today it's going to be a big shopping day for family and friends. But we're also going to still be doing a few other things. I want to check out the Picard First Duty exhibit one more time, see if I can get a little bit more film footage because I didn't finish it a couple days ago for all of you. I'm also going to try to go and film the original series bridge display so you guys can get to see and actually hear that. There's a VR system in a 10 forward area that I tried to do yesterday and I wasn't able to do because Aaron Eisenberg, Nog from Deep Space Nine, was actually trying it, so they shut it all down for him. Which is fine, no big deal there. I'm going to pick up my Jerry Ryan photo today. I wasn't able to do it yesterday because it was taken well after 6 o'clock last night. Trying to think of what else. It's really a couple panels. I might go and see the Voyager one. It's Roxanne Dawson, Tim Russ, and Ethan Phillips. Or no, not Ethan Phillips, Garrett Wong, I'm sorry. But I've seen them before, so we got other things we need to do. But I do know that Sonequa Martin Green comes on at 3 o'clock from Discovery. I loved her from The Walking Dead, and I love her as an actress altogether, even though I don't like the Michael Burnham character. That's not her. I just don't like the character, but I love the actress. So I'm looking forward to seeing her, and there are a couple other Discovery panels, like with Anthony Rapp and some of the Klingons, things like that. So it's going to be an interesting day, and then at 7 o'clock tonight, they're going to have the Rat Pack finale like they always do with several of the Star Trek actors. They actually dressed up like Dean Martin and Sinatra, and it was kind of like a show like that. So if I can get a little bit of footage from that, I'll do that for all of you as well. So why don't we go ahead and get day 5 started. I'll see you in a little bit. This is just the walk that we take to go to the convention at the Rio from the Gold Coast.
For the 10 a.m. Summer Spectacular cash drawing here at the Reconnected Club. You have a little over 10 minutes to do so. The drawing will close at 9:45.
Ready? He's got the messenger bag that I've been wanting. That's why I was filming up close to him. I'll turn a little corner here. And then we exit on to the fake grass. And that gets us to the Rio, but we're not quite there yet.
So
We have to take this pedestrian crossing. It stays on walk very briefly, and then it goes on to a 20-second blinking. We're able to get over, but it's a little difficult. And there's just a back scene of the Gold Coast. And then we take this pedestrian crossing into the Rio. Took this exact same route in 2016 and here again in 2019. Check out this motorcycle, man. It's got a Klingon symbol on it. Sweet. Hey, Brandy, you ready? Overall, it's been about a 6-minute walk. Okay. So I'm going to be shutting down here in just a minute, as soon as we get into the Rio. But that's the walk on this day 5, final day of Star Trek Las Vegas Convention 2019. Go ahead. And that's it.
It also reminds me a little bit of Ensign Row when we rewatched that episode. Kind of that vibe of, I'm really talented, I'm really smart, I know what I'm doing, but this institution is flawed, and I'm going to have to kind of bend the rules to make things work the way they should, at least in my opinion.
I mean, that's such a good call because, you know, Roe is coming from Bajor, and there's been some really messed up stuff going on there that maybe makes you doubt political systems, even though you're still great at this and you want to make a difference, which is what Mariners are.
Heavy stuff. All right, let's get to the next one because we do want to allow questions. Who's this guy?
Brad Boimler, Ensign Boimler. Cooley, you want to talk about Boims?
Yeah, Boimler. First of all, when I read your script, and I was like, oh, there's a straight shooter who's neurotic named Boimler. I think you nailed it with the name. It really gets across his entire character. He is our by the book, obsessed with rank. Wants to get captain one day and thinks that following protocol is the only way he's going to get there. He's wound and super tight, which makes him a perfect foil for Mariner, who is more of our freewheeling, Maverick type spirit. He will get in the captain's chair one day if he can take a page from her and learn there's more to Starfleet than just following the rules.
Awesome. Okay, who else we got?
Ensign Tandy. I mean, and I want you to talk about Tandy, but let me just say, Tandy is intentionally such a, like, Tandy is a huge Star Trek fan, so to speak, who has gotten into Starfleet and is an Orion, and this show is her first day getting to work on a Starfleet ship, and it is wish fulfillment. It is, we are channeling the feeling of like, what if one of us got to be on a Starfleet ship? And so just like the original pitch for her is kind of, there's no job to Lower Decks that she isn't losing her mind with joy over. But what's it like writing Teddy?
Well, I feel like everybody thinks that I should relate to Tendi, and it's funny because I'm like, wait, am I really that optimistic about everything? And I feel like,
Yes.
I feel like maybe she would feel that way about herself. So, no, but like, she is one of the most, she just brings joy to any scene because she just like, there's that happiness and joy there that is not annoying somehow. Like, you'd think that it would be, but it just comes from such a real place of like being such a fangirl for this amazing institution that like is, yeah.
Like the optimism of Starfleet was turned into a person.
She's like somebody who puts a sticker of a character she likes on her phone and really excited.
Totally unlike Anne, yeah.
The crazy part, it's not even a sticker, it's a trading card. Put in the back of her.
She tucked it into a case, yeah, I saw that too.
I also have like stuffed animals in my, not stuffed animals, stuffed Captain Picard stuffed in my bed.
She sleeps with Captain Picard.
Okay. Now, Team Lower Decks, when I heard that there was going to be a new animated series, I really had only one hope. I said, for God's sakes, there better be occasion on this show, or else there's gonna be some troubles. What's the next slide, computer?
It's not occasion.
Sorry, bud.
We're getting vacation.
All right, let's put Paul.
I hope you were gonna say my one hope, if you're making an animated show, is that we have an engineer who just recently became a cyborg and isn't used to it yet, and is only complaining about his implant because he doesn't really understand how to use it. But I wanted to do something that was like, Rutherford is great. He's kind of like a Geordie LaForge if you don't always solve the problem in 40 minutes. And so it's fun because every episode he's like, I got this. But he sometimes does not have it. And it's fun to see like, he's like, oh crap, we have to figure something else out. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
It's like, I need 20 minutes, well you have 10. No, seriously, I need the full 20.
Yeah, I'm not doing the Scotty thing. I probably need 30. And all of these characters, you've been seeing the actors' names on the images. Everybody we've cast, it's like a party every time we're recording. Everybody is so funny. They're all from kind of like a comedy background, but everybody is such a fan of Star Trek as well, that like, we'll do 2 regular takes, and then we'll let them ramble about Star Trek, and half the time we're using the takes where they just ramble about what they like in Star Trek.
Okay, let's see the next slide, computer.
There's the Cation, dude!
Who's ready to flip this disc over? Lieutenant Maress, and there's always someone out there dressed as her. Probably the most important aspect of the animated series from 45 some odd years ago. Occasion does make an appearance here in your show, and thank God for that, huh?
Yeah, woo! Give it up for Cation! However, you know, the love of the original animated series, like it has its ups and it has its downs, but it was important to us to feel like when you're watching our show that it treats all of Star Trek equally. So we have characters and alien designs casually and featured in our episodes that are from TOS, TNG, and from the animated series showing up. And so it really feels like we're kind of like tightening the bootlace on like making the animated series feel like it's actually even more canon than it was before. So this is our bridge crew, and it was important that the bridge crew feel like a real bridge crew. Do one of you guys want to talk about, Em, do you want to talk about the bridge crew?
Let's do it. We've got Lieutenant Shax, who is our beefcake Bajoran right there. And then we have Captain Freeman in the middle. And then Commander Ransom, who I think Mike described at Comic-Con as kind of a California worker.
Yeah, he's like kind of chill, smug Riker.
Yeah.
Loves avocados or whatever.
And then we've got Dr. Donna, our
And does
She's our doctor.
she purr periodically?
She does not purr. She is not friendly. She is
Been there,
not.
done that.
Yeah.
A prank.
She's like, am I pronouncing this right? Is it Ress?
Ress, yeah.
Ress. For Maress, who's like on the bridge being like, ooh, Captain, you know, Dr. Tana's more like, get out of there, you know. She's a bit more of like a Bones McCoy or like a Pulaski. She's kind of like a super Pulaski, angry, like
Zero.
cat from a junkyard. She's not. Yeah, she's not purring at anybody, and she's a good doctor, but yeah, she's an unpleasant man.
She's a good doctor, but
And you know, Captain Freeman is like, she's if you're as capable as a Starfleet captain you would want them to be, but she's just not on the most important ship in the fleets. The stories we're telling about these guys are like, you know, the show is about the lower decks of a ship, but since the ship is in charge of second contact, these guys are kind of the lower decks of crews too, so it's interesting to tell stories about them.
very cool. I think we definitely have time for a few questions. Is there another slide? There's the gang together. Awesome. So let's start here on this side. We have a question from the stage right house left.
Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for taking time out in the thunder earlier. Thanks for
Hey, man.
answering questions live. One question: of all the tasks you've written for the crew to do so far, which one would you least like to do?
Ooh, what do you guys think? I mean, I know what it is, but
It's, I think for all of us, it's scraping carbon off a slightly harder carbon.
yeah, they hate it. Our lower deckers are always scraping carbon off of slightly harder carbon, and they hate it. And maybe it's like the second worst. I mean, clearly the holodecks.
Maybe the
Maybe the holiday.
Yeah, there's like they'll mess up the holodeck.
A lot of weird stuff goes down in there. We don't get into it, but we all know.
Hey, I fell in love there.
I get it, Reg. I fell in love there once.
Awesome question. Thank you so much. On this side.
Hello. We have seen flashes of comedy with Trouble with Tribbles, Star Trek 4, Hollow Pursuits, the Barclay episodes, etc. But Mr. Roddenberry nor Mr. Berman, anyone has ever attempted a purely comedic Trek series until now. From your perspective, in your opinion, as Trek fans, why has that never come to be until now?
I mean, we're all reading the 50-year history right now, and like really doing a deep dive on kind of like what the thinking was in where every series of Star Trek has kind of come from. And the reason I think right now, specifically, it feels like a pretty amazing time to be a Trekkie. Like, it felt like there was like a while where it was like, oh, are we done? But now all of a sudden it's like, ooh, all this interesting new shows are coming. Is that from when I met with Secret Hideout, and I never expected the show to get made, so I went in and just told them, as a fan of the show, and as a writer of animated comedies, what my personal dream Star Trek would be. One that is straight up comedy, but has Star Trek in it, and doesn't punch down on Star Trek, and if you watched it and you had never seen Star Trek, you would go, wow, I want to watch as much Star Trek as possible after that. I think the reason is, Gene Roddenberry didn't want to write comedies. And everybody that was writing Star Trek before, it was their voice. It was coming from their specific joy of writing and what they want to tell, what kind of stories they want to tell. And Lower Decks is just, you know, Secret Hideout saw that as a Trek fan and as a comedy writer, this show is what my voice is. And I'm just executing it in a way that brings me joy as a Trekkie. And so I think you just had to get to a place where somebody like me, with like the weird kind of app, you know, now that there's like apps that are looking for content and stuff, like before you had to have Star Trek that spoke very clearly, this is Star Trek, this fits in a box, but now it's like, let's let people who love Star Trek explore a different side of Star Trek in all these different shows, and my voice is just the comedic one.
Thank you very much. That's a great question. We have on this side here.
Yeah, so I was curious, are you planning on having any cameos from famous characters from other Star Trek shows?
I mean, come on, if you don't think that we're trying to get everybody in, like, oh man, I wonder if we should try to get Patrick Stewart. Yeah, we're trying to get everybody, but...
Can you tease us with one at least, maybe?
I don't want to tease anything yet, but all I want to say is, it's our dream, these are all our heroes. We would, if we could figure out a way to not mess up the show and get to geek out over working with all of these people that we love, we would do it. And all I'll say to it is, the show takes place in 2380. we're trying to make it as in canon as humanly possible, because why do a Star Trek show unless you're going to be in canon? It's like part of what makes it great. And, right? I mean, it's part of what makes it great. Like, Star Trek is about the characters, even if there's a bad episode of Star Trek. I don't care, I'm watching it because I love the characters. So, our TNG crew is out there in 2380.
As a fan, I mean, you told me it took place in 2380, and that was one of the most exciting things for me hearing that. It was like, oh, I love this time period, and it feels like forever since we've been in that era. And so having access to that whole world, for me, I was like, oh, if I was writing on this show, I would definitely be tuning in, just the fanboy in me.
I will tell you, Mariner gets drunk at the bar and will just start going like, you guys know who Worf is? And they're like, yeah, we know who Worf is. She's like, I love Worf so much. You know, like our Lower Decks characters are fans of these heroes in Starfleet too.
You know, we talked a little bit about institutional knowledge of Trek in this time period. I know someone who a lot of these people know who's working with you as a consultant for sort of lore and the science of it all is David Mack, who has written approximately 465 Star Trek novels.
So sometimes we'll be writing something and everything is going exactly right and it's just like, feels really Starfleet to us, and then we'll send Mac the script and he'll give us a note and we'll be like, oh, we should not have been calling that character a lieutenant, it doesn't make any sense. And so what Mac is amazing at is taking what we're doing and really like clicking it into place where you can watch a TNG episode and then bounce to ours and then back to TNG and it doesn't feel like you're making two different kind of entities.
Yeah, I mean, he's the great guy to be the one to make sure it's all weaving together with canon and whatnot, because he's got it. He also told me once, one of the corrections was you wrote Quasar but meant Pulsar, and he was like, oh,
yeah, he went nuts on that Pulsar stuff. I was like, dude, that's like not even that many letters to change.
I think one of the first questions we asked him was, do people use the bathroom in the holiday?
No, we asked him.
I wasn't ready for that.
Didn't we ask him if he... Never mind. I'm not for today. Let's get more questions.
Yeah, more questions on this side.
Lower Decks has brand new post-Nemesis uniforms. Please talk about this line.
I mean, we are such geeks. We have so many books of Star Trek design. I got to talk to the Okudas yesterday, and it was like, getting to talk to you guys about this, great. Going home and telling my wife that I talked to the Okudas about Elcar's displays and the way that we're updating it for a modern animated show, like, I'm gonna cry. I was so happy. Wait, now I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
The uniforms, post-Nemesis uniforms.
So it was important to me to match, like, there were designs that weren't used for generations, and there were kind of like designs that were used across all the series, and we wanted to do something that felt like if you saw somebody cosplaying it, which I haven't here yet, by the way, guys, but if you saw somebody cosplaying it, you'd immediately be like, wait a minute, that's TNG, and that has to be the animated show, but it doesn't not look Starfleet, you know, so, plus I just love that flap, that like, when they're like getting down dirty, you can like unbutton that flap, you know, it just looks awesome.
Another huge reveal that we didn't get at Comic-Con, because the images we showed didn't go all the way down full body. They have matching boots.
Yeah, we updated the boots.
White boots.
That looks got white boots! And I think on the bottoms of the shoes are the Starfleet Delta, so if they're walking through mud, they're leaving behind, but anyways. We're having a good time, is what I'm saying.
And so is that uniform officially canon? That is the next Nemesis, post-Nemesis uniform. Is that canon? Done?
All right, listen. There's a lot of stuff going on with Picard. Picard's doing a lot. But what I'll say is, if you're on a California-class ship in the year 2380, you better be wearing that uniform.
All right, this just in. That sounded pretty official to me. I like that. We have room for one more over here.
Yes, thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks, Charlie Brown.
Good grief. There's already actually a Star Trek show that's highly influenced by Star Trek. It's not officially Star Trek, called The Orville, which takes a more comedic spin on the material. I was just wondering, how do you guys plan on differentiating yourself from that? Or if you're familiar with that, you're highly influenced by that?
I mean, Seth MacFarlane is the perfect person to be doing that show because the guy literally used to build enterprises in his basement made out of cardboard. And he obviously has such an opinion on the kind of show he wants to make for that. And I think what he's doing with it is like magical. Like I can't believe that show exists because it's like it fell out of another dimension from the 90s. Like it's insane. I think that the kind of just my comedic voice is really different from his, and the types of stories we're doing are, you know, our show feels like if a Deep Space Nine feels like drinking like a nice slow cup of coffee that's just like expertly made. Our show feels like getting a cup of coffee thrown in your face, and then you fall downstairs, and then you're there, and you're like, what the hell just happened? You still got the coffee.
Awake.
Awake, oh my God. So I just think that there's like a million different reasons why the shows are gonna feel different, but I will say that like from Rick and Morty, like I was a huge Rick and Morty fan. At Rick and Morty, I'm a huge Futurama fan. Other Space, Final Space, Red Dwarf, like there's so many amazing.
Yeah, you do a new Hitchhiker's Guide show.
Oh, I mean, Hitchhiker's Guide. That like, I'm always reading sci-fi books. I love comedy sci-fi, and I think that because our characters aren't on the Orville, we're never going to actually cross over. We're doing different things, but it's a great time to be a comedy sci-fi nerd all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
Galaxy Quest, I think, is one of the best movies ever made. I'm like, so yeah, I think there's room for everybody. Thank you very much.
At this very convention, Mike, a few years ago, we ranked all of the Star Trek feature films.
Oh, it made it in there,
and
right?
Galaxy Quest was number 6.
Raise that up a little bit.
It was controversial enough. I barely made it out of here alive. Okay, we have a question on this side.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what are some of your favorite comedic performances or moments from prior Star Trek series?
Great question. I mean, Data having a beard for a second. I mean, we all remember that.
That was a weird word.
Great visual joke.
One that we always reference in the room is when it's Ensign, I'm gonna forget her name.
Oh, that spills the coffee?
Yes,
Yeah.
the woman, yes, the woman
Sonia
from,
Gomez.
There we go.
Lopez! It's a Lopez!
The coffee on Picard, and Gordy has the moment before where he's like, what are you doing with hot chocolate in the engineering room? Like, you can't have liquids here.
We've watched that scene so many times. Picard walks into engineering and an ensign dumps her coffee on his shirt. And like, our whole series is based in those moments. Like, what's it like to be on these ships? It's great. What's like Bo shows up?
Oh yeah, when they go to the actual comedy. Back and Data tries to learn comedy.
Anytime Data's trying to learn and he's almost getting it, I think is great. A lot of Worf comedy. I mean, Garrett's favorite character is Worf. You can watch literally hours of Worf.
Hours of Worf. I love Worf. I love when Worf speaks and then gets immediately shot down. That's always fun. Him getting thrown across the room by Troy is always great.
I mean, it's hard to pick. It's all character-based. It all feel like every Starfleet ship feels like a different family, and you get to make fun of your family because you love them and you're with them all the time. And that's the kind of sense of humor that TNG has, and our family is like that too on our ship. It's just a slightly funnier family.
There's humor in the very first scene of, if you call Where No Man Has Gone Before, the second pilot of TOS. If you call that the first episode, we can get into quibbling about that, but let's call that the first episode. The very first scene, like one of the first sentences, yes, one of your Earth emotions. That's a joke. I just killed with it.
I mean, listen, how many Star Trek episodes have you seen where the point of it is, and especially if Q is involved, that humanity is out in space, but we haven't abandoned what makes us human? And to me, it's really important right now, especially when you're talking about what the best of us is that yeah, we have pads. We have better than pads. Like we've out-padded Star Trek, and we have all this amazing technology, but the world is kind of like an uncertain, dark place. And so, to me, when we're telling a Star Trek story, it's important that people feel like people, that they have emotional things going on, and that they're funny and they can be funny, and that they can be serious and be doing sci-fi stuff, but you're reminded all the time why they're human and why we're following these characters, or human-adjacent characters that we love.
That, to me, sounds like the perfect way to wrap things up. I am so excited for this show. I cannot wait. It's in production right now. We don't have an exact launch date.
You guys will be seeing it next year. Again, we are so proud. Guys, do you just want to say thank you really quick since we're getting to talk to these guys?
Thanks so much for letting us talk about the show. We're really proud of it. We hope you guys love it as much as we do. It's a real dream come true being here in front of you guys. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for a great weekend. Like meeting everyone, it's nice.
A big round of applause, please, for Ann Kim, Ben Rogers, Kula, Em Willis, Garrett Bernard, and Mike McMahon. Star Trek Lower Decks, beaming in sometime soon. We're very excited. Animation and comedy in the Star Trek universe.
Thank you.